The store alarm blared like a siren in the upscale Manhattan boutique, drawing every eye to the tall, impeccably dressed man at the exit. Jordan Hayes, the store manager, rushed forward, his face flushed with accusation as he grabbed the man's arm. "Sir, you're not leaving until security checks that bag. We don't tolerate thieves here, no matter how well you clean up." Zane froze, his heart pounding not from guilt but from the sheer absurdity. He owned this entire chain of luxury stores, a fact buried under layers of corporate anonymity to shield his private life. But in that moment, as shoppers whispered and Jordan's grip tightened, Zane realized this misunderstanding could unravel everything he'd hidden for years, including the truth about who he really loved. Jordan's mind raced as he signaled for security. He'd seen it before, entitled types thinking they could walk out with unpaid items. This guy, with his sharp suit and quiet confidence, fit the profile perfectly. "Empty the bag," Jordan demanded, his voice steady despite the knot in his stomach. He prided himself on running a tight ship at Elite Threads, the flagship store in a nationwide empire. Losing inventory meant losing his job, and at 28, with a mountain of student debt from his fashion degree, he couldn't afford that. Zane complied slowly, pulling out a silk tie he'd just purchased, receipt tucked inside. But as he did, a personal photo slipped out, him and another man, arms around each other at a discreet beach getaway. Jordan's eyes widened, not at the receipt proving innocence, but at the image. It hit too close to home. Jordan was gay, out and proud in New York City's vibrant scene, but he'd faced enough bigotry in his small-town Ohio upbringing to recognize the fear in Zane's hurried attempt to snatch it back. "Wait," Jordan stammered, releasing his arm. The alarm must be faulty. My apologies, sir." But the damage was done. Shoppers murmured about that gay guy trying to steal, twisting the narrative. Zane's face burned. He wasn't out to anyone beyond a select few. As CEO of Thompson Enterprises, which owned Elite Threads among dozens of ventures, he navigated boardrooms where old-money conservatives still whispered about family values. Coming out could tank stock prices, alienate partners, and worst of all, destroy his relationship with his ultra-traditional family back in Boston. That night, Zane couldn't shake the encounter. Pacing his penthouse overlooking Central Park, he replayed Jordan's accusatory stare, turning to surprise. There was something in those hazel eyes, recognition, perhaps empathy. Zane had built his empire from nothing, starting with a small online store during college. But success came at a cost. His last relationship ended because he couldn't commit publicly. The guy left, calling him a coward. Now, at 32, Zane wondered if loneliness was the price of power. Jordan, meanwhile, tossed in his cramped Brooklyn apartment. He'd overreacted, driven by stress from corporate pressure to cut losses. But that photo, it stirred memories of his own coming out, the family rejection that followed. His parents, devout Catholics, had cut ties when he brought home his first boyfriend. Jordan had rebuilt in New York, finding community in queer spaces, but the job at Elite Threads was his anchor. Accusing the wrong person could get him fired. He decided to track down the customer via the receipt's details, intending a formal apology. The next day, Jordan emailed Zane, using the contact from the purchase record. "Mr. Thompson, I deeply regret yesterday's incident. Please accept a complimentary item as amends." Zane stared at the message, intrigued. He rarely mingled with store-level staff, but something compelled him to respond. They met at a nearby coffee shop, neutral ground. "You're the manager," Zane said, shaking Jordan's hand. The touch lingered a second too long, sending an unexpected spark. Jordan nodded, apologizing profusely. As they talked, barriers crumbled. Jordan shared his passion for fashion, how he'd clawed his way up despite prejudices. Zane listened, drawn to his authenticity, a stark contrast to his own guarded world. By the end of the coffee, Zane felt a pull he hadn't in years. But he couldn't reveal his ownership. It would complicate things. Instead, he asked for Jordan's number, framing it as networking. Jordan agreed, his pulse quickening. Little did he know, this chance meeting would ignite a firestorm of emotions, forcing both men to confront secrets that could shatter their lives. As weeks passed, casual texts turned to dinners. Zane found solace in Jordan's openness, sharing veiled stories of his pressured life without specifics. Jordan, sensing walls, pushed gently. "You seem like you're carrying the world," he said one evening over wine in a dimly lit bistro. Zane hesitated, then admitted, "Family expectations are a beast." His parents, pillars of Boston society, expected him to marry well, produce heirs. The thought of disappointing them gnawed at him. Their first kiss happened spontaneously after a late-night walk in the park. It was tender, charged with unspoken longing. But as Zane pulled away, guilt flooded in. This wasn't just attraction. It was risk. Jordan, however, felt alive, believing he'd found someone genuine. Unbeknownst to them, whispers from the store incident lingered. A coworker had overheard Jordan's apology and speculated about favoritism. Corporate HR caught wind, prompting an internal review. Zane, monitoring from afar, intervened anonymously to quash it. But the act weighed on him. Was he abusing power? The tension built when Jordan invited Zane to a pride event. "It'll be fun, low-key," he said. Zane panicked. Public exposure could leak to his family. He declined, citing work, but the lie stung. Jordan sensed evasion, hurt flickering in his eyes. "If you're not ready, that's okay. But don't string me along." Zane wrestled internally that night. Loving Jordan meant choosing authenticity over facade. But the cost? His legacy, his family's approval. As he stared at old family photos, he realized the conflict was just beginning. Jordan threw himself into work, trying to shake the disappointment from Zane's rejection. The pride event came and went, a blur of colors and celebration where he danced with friends. But his mind wandered to the man who'd become a fixture in his thoughts. Zane's excuses felt like barriers, reminiscent of past partners who'd hidden their relationships. Jordan had vowed never to be someone's secret again. Meanwhile, Zane buried himself in board meetings at Thomson Enterprises headquarters. The company was thriving, with expansions into Europe on the horizon. But success felt hollow. His sister, Emily, called from Boston, probing about his dating life. "Mom and Dad are worried you're too focused on work. They want grandkids, Zane." He laughed it off, but the pressure mounted. His parents, Edward and Margaret Thompson, were old school. Church every Sunday, charity galas, and a firm belief in traditional marriage. Coming out would be seen as a betrayal of their values. Desperate for connection, Zane texted Jordan an apology. They met again, this time at Zane's penthouse, a rare invitation. Jordan was awed by the luxury, but more by Zane's vulnerability. "I want this," Zane confessed, pulling him close. Their evenings together deepened, filled with conversations about dreams and fears. Jordan opened up about his estrangement from family, how it forged his independence. Zane envied that freedom, but cracks appeared. Jordan's friends questioned the mystery man who never joined group outings. "Is he ashamed?" one asked. Jordan defended Zane, but doubt crept in. At work, a promotion opportunity arose, regional manager. Excited, he shared with Zane, who feigned surprise but knew it was coming. He'd subtly influenced the decision. The moral dilemma hit Zane hard. Was he manipulating Jordan's career to keep him close? He confided in his best friend, Mark, the only person who knew his sexuality. "You're playing with fire," Mark warned. "If he finds out you're the boss, it'll look like favoritism or worse." The turning point came at a corporate gala. Zane attended alone as always. Spotting Jordan there as a guest invited by a vendor sent his world spinning. Jordan approached, confused. "What are you doing here?" Zane stammered an excuse about consulting work. But when the MC announced Zane as CEO of Thomson Enterprises, Jordan's face paled. "You own Elite Threads?" Jordan whispered, pulling him aside. Betrayal etched his features. The incident, the promotion, was it all a game? Zayn denied manipulation, explaining his anonymity. But Jordan stormed out, feeling fooled. I thought you were real with me. Zayn chased after him into the rainy New York night. I hid it to protect us, to protect you from my mess. Jordan whirled around. Protect me? Or hide me like a dirty secret? The argument escalated. Voices raised amid honking taxis. Jordan accused Zayn of cowardice, of using power to control. Zayn countered with his fears, losing the company, his family. Love isn't enough if it destroys everything. They parted in anger, Jordan blocking Zayn's number. Alone in his penthouse, Zayn broke down, realizing his choices had hurt the one person who saw him truly. Jordan, back in Brooklyn, punched a pillow, torn between love and self-respect. He'd sacrificed family for authenticity. Could he compromise now? Days blurred into weeks of silence. Zayn threw himself into work, but efficiency suffered. Board members noticed his distraction. Emily visited, sensing turmoil. What's wrong, brother? He almost confessed, but the words stuck. Instead, he probed her views on alternative lifestyles. She shrugged. As long as you're happy, planted a seed. Jordan, meanwhile, aced the promotion interview but hesitated accepting. Felt tainted. He sought advice from his mentor, an older gay man who'd navigated corporate closets. Sometimes love means pushing them to grow, the mentor said. Jordan unblocked Zayn, sending a terse message. We need to talk. They met in Central Park, neutral and open. Jordan laid it out. I can't be hidden. If we're doing this, you have to face your fears. Zayn nodded, but inside, terror gripped him. What if I lose everything? Jordan's eyes softened. What if you gain yourself? The conversation ended with a tentative kiss, but the ultimatum hung heavy. Zayn knew a decision loomed, one that could redefine his life. The weight of Jordan's words followed Zayn like a shadow. He returned to Boston for a family weekend, the first in months. The Thompson estate, a sprawling colonial in the suburbs, buzzed with familiarity. His mother's famous roast, his father's golf stories. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Edward pulled him aside. Son, we've set up a meeting with the Harrington's daughter. She's perfect, smart, from good stock. Zayn's stomach churned. The Harringtons were key investors. A marriage alliance would solidify business ties. He evaded, claiming busyness, but Margaret pressed. You're 32, Zayn. Time to settle down. The dinner table conversation turned to societal ills, with Edward ranting about woke culture eroding traditions. Zayn bit his tongue, the hypocrisy burning. His parents donated to conservative causes that opposed LGBTQ rights, unaware their son was the very thing they feared. Back in New York, Jordan focused on his new role as regional manager. The promotion brought travel, overseeing multiple stores. It distracted from the ache of uncertainty with Zayn. During a trip to Chicago, he met old friends at a bar. One, an ex-flame named Chris, flirted shamelessly. Jordan resisted, but the attention tempted him. Why wait for someone who's not all in? Chris asked. Jordan left early, conflicted. Zayn, desperate, researched coming-out stories from executives. Some thrived, others crashed. He scheduled a therapy session, his first. The therapist probed, what's the cost of staying hidden? Zayn admitted the isolation, the lies eroding his soul. But my family, they disown me. The session ended with homework. Envision life out. A crisis hit when a tabloid rumor surfaced. A blurry photo from the gala argument leaked, captioned Mystery Man storms out on Thompson Air. Speculation swirled online. Zayn's PR team quashed it, but Edward called furious. What's this nonsense? Damage control now? Zayn lied, blaming a business dispute. Jordan saw the article, his heart sinking. He reached out. This affects me too. They argued via text, Jordan accusing Zayn of dragging his feet. "I'm not your experiment." Zayn fired back, "You don't understand the stakes." The exchange ended coldly. In a moment of impulse, Zayn confided in Emily. Over lunch, he came out. Tears flowed as she hugged him. "I suspected. I love you no matter what." Boyd, he planned to tell his parents. But Emily warned, "Dad's old-fashioned. Give him time." The confrontation happened at a family dinner. Zayn's hands shook as he said, "I'm gay." Silence fell. Margaret gasped. Edward's face reddened. "This is a phase. We'll get you help." The argument exploded. Accusations of ingratitude, threats to cut inheritance. Zayn stood firm. "This is who I am." He left, heartbroken but liberated. Jordan, hearing the news, rushed to Zayn's side. They reconciled in a tearful embrace. "I'm proud of you," Jordan whispered, but the victory was bittersweet. Zayn's family rift deepened, and business whispers grew. As they navigated the fallout, a new threat emerged. A board member, allied with Edward, pushed for Zayn's ouster, citing personal distractions. Zayn fought back, rallying supporters. Jordan stood by him, but the strain tested their bond. The boardroom battle intensified. Zayn presented stellar quarterly reports, but detractors harped on the scandal. "Stakeholders want stability," one said. Zayn countered, "My personal life doesn't affect profits." Privately, he worried. Stock dipped slightly. Investors jittered. Jordan supported from afar, but his own life complicated. His promotion meant relocating temporarily to oversee a troubled store in LA. "It's an opportunity," he told Zayn, but separation loomed, amplifying insecurities. In LA, Chris reappeared, now working nearby. Drinks led to a near-miss kiss. Jordan pulled away, guilt-ridden. He confessed to Zayn over the phone. "I stopped it, but I was tempted." Zayn's trust wavered. "Is this because I'm not enough?" The call ended in tears. Betrayal's sting cut deep, echoing his family's rejection. He questioned everything. Was love worth this pain? Jordan returned to New York, begging forgiveness. "It was a moment of weakness. I choose you." They made up, but scars remained. Zayn threw himself into salvaging his position, outing himself publicly in a company memo. "Authenticity drives innovation," he wrote. Responses varied. Support from employees, backlash from conservatives. Edward escalated, freezing family assets tied to the business. "Choose your lifestyle or your legacy." Zayn refused, hiring lawyers. The legal fight drained him emotionally. Amid chaos, Jordan proposed a weekend getaway to the Hamptons. There, away from prying eyes, they reconnected. Walks on the beach, honest talks. Jordan shared his own regrets. Pushing Zayn too hard, the flirtation with Chris. "I hurt you to protect myself." Zayn admitted his fears. "I traded truth for security too long." But peace shattered when paparazzi snapped photos. Headlines screamed, "Thompson CEO's gay affair exposed." Edward called, disowning him. "You're no son of mine." Margaret pleaded for reconciliation. Torn. Jordan faced backlash too. Anonymous hate mail at work, questioning his promotion's legitimacy. "Sleeping your way up?" one read. He confronted Zayn. "Did you influence it?" Zayn admitted the subtle nudge. Jordan exploded. "That's betrayal." He stormed out, feeling used. Alone, Zayn hit rock bottom. He considered resigning, but Emily urged him on. "Fight for what matters." Jordan, in turmoil, sought solace in therapy. "Am I repeating patterns?" he wondered. Reconciliation came slowly. Jordan returned, demanding transparency. "No more secrets." Zayn agreed, stepping down from CEO to consultant, prioritizing life over title. The decision cost millions, but freed him. With Zayn's demotion, the company stabilized under new leadership. He retained shares, ensuring financial security, but the power loss humbled him. "I defined myself by success," he told Jordan. They moved in together, a cozy apartment in Greenwich Village. A far cry from the penthouse, but authentic. Family mending began tentatively. Emily mediated a meeting with Margaret. Tears flowed as she apologized. "I was scared of losing you." Edward remained distant, but sent a curt email, "Need time." Zane accepted, focusing on healing. Jordan's career flourished independently. He launched a diversity initiative at Elite Threads, inspired by their story. It gained traction, earning him recognition, but societal prejudices lingered. A hate crime nearby shook them, a reminder of vulnerability. A deeper conflict arose when Jordan wanted to adopt. "We could build a family." Zane hesitated, haunted by his upbringing. "What if I'm like my father?" Debates ensued, exposing moral divides. Jordan pushed for progress. Zane feared repeating cycles. The climax hit at a charity event. Edward attended unexpectedly. Tensions peaked as he confronted Zane. "This lifestyle, it's wrong." Jordan defended, "Love isn't wrong. Hate is." The exchange went viral, polarizing opinions. Support poured in, but so did threats. Zane faced a choice, retreat or stand. He chose the latter, speaking out in interviews. Hiding hurt more than truth. The publicity boosted Jordan's initiative, but strained their relationship. Exhaustion led to arguments. "You're using our story," Jordan accused. In a heated moment, Zane snapped, "Maybe we rushed this." Jordan left temporarily, staying with friends. Reflection brought clarity. Zane realized his defensiveness stemmed from loss, Jordan from fear of abandonment. They reunited, vowing communication, but the damage lingered, trust fragile. As months passed, stability returned. Zane consulted for startups, mentoring queer entrepreneurs. Jordan rose to executive ranks, his integrity unquestioned. Their bond strengthened through therapy, addressing wounds. Family thawed. Edward attended a dinner, awkward but civil. "I don't understand, but you're my son." It wasn't acceptance, but progress. Yet society tested them. A lawsuit from a disgruntled board member alleged nepotism. Zane fought, winning, but the ordeal exhausted resources. Jordan stood firm. "We weather storms together." In quiet moments, they reflected on choices. Zane regretted years hidden, Jordan pushing too aggressively. Love, they learned, demanded sacrifice. The story culminated in a proposal. On a bright Manhattan rooftop, Zane knelt. "Will you marry me, despite the costs?" Jordan accepted, tears of joy. But awakening came with hindsight. Every decision carried a price. Family ties strained, careers altered, hearts scarred. In the end, they emerged resilient but forever changed. Was hiding one's true self ever justified? Or does authenticity always demand the ultimate sacrifice?